Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel where I talk about movies. Today I'm going to interrupt my regularly scheduled programming of videos and acknowledging the upcoming Barnes & Noble Criterion half-priced sale. I'm filming this on November 2nd. It's rumored to be starting Friday, November 3rd. These sales generally start on Fridays, and some people say the 6th. But I will post this video on the day that the sale officially begins, and I will put the dates in the description box of the actual sale. So for this, I have a series of Criterion recommendation videos. I actually have a playlist for it, and I'll leave for anybody who's interested and wants to see some of my other Criterion recommendations during Barnes & Noble or flash sales. I will leave the link in the description box below. For this sale, recommendations will be crime films. This is November, so these will be. I'm going to recommend 12 crime films. Some are noir, some are neo-noir. I'm going to actually rank them. Now, I don't normally rank films or give them ratings or categories, but every once in a while it's kind of fun to do. And these will be favorites. I'm not an expert on movies at all, so these will. I'm not giving you the 12 greatest film noirs of all time, but noirs that I really enjoyed watching, and I'm confident in recommending them that other people will find them equally entertaining. So I'm going to go 12 to 1. So number 12 is the Infernal Affairs Trilogy from 2002-2003, starring two great Hong Kong actors, Tony Leung and Andy Lau. A story about a police mole and a gangster mole. we have two moles, and the confrontation between Andy Lau and Tony Leung, as you can see on the cover here, is quite sensational, and this is supposedly the inspiration for Martin Scorsese's award-winning The Departed. Now, the other thing about all these 12 of these are good overall packages. I'm not going to go through all the supplements on each one of these, but I think there's some beautiful packaging. There's supplements that are robust enough. I enjoyed all these films, and also the supplements. All right, that's 12. 11, Devil in a Blue Dress. This is from 1995, directed by Carl Franklin, who will show up in this list again. And this is taken from Walter Mosley, one of Walter Mosley's Easy Rollins novels. I think this was actually his first one. Denzel Washington, absolutely perfect as Easy Rollins, who has this sort of psychotic friend named Mouse. Play again, perfect casting with Don Cheadle. A great recreation of post-war LA. It's just it's a beautiful film. My only regret is they didn't go on. There was plans to go on with making one or two more of these Easy Rollins, Walter Mosley adaptations, but this is it. So, and this is a good one. So, now to number 10, which is Terrence Malick's Badlands. This is from 1973. This is Malick's debut film starring Martin Sheen and Sissy Spacek, based on the Charlie Starkweather murder spree in the late 1950s. I covered this in a video for my series, my year-long series, looking back at the films of 1973. And I was surprised how much I admired this film when I saw it this year, because I didn't really like this film when it came out. I didn't get into the deadpan presentation of violence that Malick employs in this film. But the two leads are terrific. It has a kind of fairy tale look to it that goes on into Malick's second film, Days of Heaven. So this is one of those films that really upped in my estimation in looking back at films that I didn't particularly like 50 years ago. But it's a very unique film. Number 9, Moonrise. Anybody who watches my channel for a long time knows that Frank Borzage is one of my favorite directors. This is his only film noir, Moonrise. Dane Clark, the great Gail Russell. Any movie with Gail Russell is worth seeing. Borzage didn't like noir. He thought it was too dark, too pessimistic. So this is kind of like an anti-noir, you might say. Borzage had an optimistic look in life, and optimism doesn't always go along so well with film noir, which makes the tension in this film and the course of its narrative very interesting and absorbing to follow. Number 8, again, Carl Franklin, One False Move, which came out just a few months ago. Starring Bill Paxton, Billy Bob Thornton, who also did the screenplay. Another 4K. We have here Devil in a Blue Dress, was also a 4K. This is kind of a road movie. Could be called road movie noir, where a small town in, I think it's Arkansas, is going to be invaded by the evil gangsters of Los Angeles. And what's going to happen when they finally arrive in this small town? The tension really ramps up here. Beautiful looking film, again, from director Carl Franklin. And number 7, An Investigation of a Citizen Above Suspicion, directed by Elio Petri. If you've ever seen Elio Petri movies, you know you're in for a very unusual ride, and this certainly is an unusual film noir. Starring the great Gian Maria Volante, and this is one of his greatest performances. This is about a policeman who investigates himself, investigates a murder that he himself has committed. And it goes off into all kinds of rather surreal moments and bureaucratic madness, but always centered on just this fantastic conception of this character by Gian Maria Volante. Number 6, this is a real sleeper favorite. This is The Hit. The Hit, which comes from 1984, directed by Stephen Frears. Again, we have a road movie noir, in which Terrence Stamp has ratted on his gangster group and is in kind of witness protection, living out in nowhere land of Spain. His location has been identified by the gangsters that he ratted out on, so they're out to get him. And they're out to get him, to bring him back to Paris, where he is, where the vengeance is going to be wrought upon him. So Terrence Stamp is in this. We get Tim Roth, and I think this is his debut movie. He is really something to watch, as you can expect. But to me, the main actor here that really going to make you want to come back and watch this film is a performance by John Hurt as a sort of aging gangster who just, his time has come too. He just can't, he doesn't, he's become wary of his job and what he has to do, the dirty things he has to do, the crazy partner he has in Tim Roth, and then confronted with this great, beautiful woman who becomes an inadvertent hostage in this road movie. I've seen this film many times. I like it every time I see it, so I'm not hesitant to recommend it, but I know this is not one that would pop up on most people's favorite film noirs of all time. And we come to number 5, High Sierra. High Sierra, starring Bogart in his first real major leading role. Ida Lupino is also in this, directed by Raoul Walsh. A screenplay from John Huston, so Huston and Bogey hit it off well, and Huston wrote The Maltese Falcon, which was the next film that Bogart would make, and would make him a huge star. We also get, what is it, The Man from Colorado? I think something like that. Okay, I should have wrote it down. There's a second movie here where we get the Western version, Western noir, Joel McCrea playing the Humphrey Bogart part. So let's move on to number 4, another foreign film, a French film, Le Circle Rouge. This is my favorite Jean-Pierre Melville film. It has a lot going on in this film. And again, we get Gian-Maria Volonté as one of the 3 stars, Yves Montand, Alain Delon. I mean, just the cast alone, you can't go wrong with that. It's just Melville's kind of abstract approach to filmmaking, which becomes very abstract in a movie like Les Samurai. But this film moves around a lot. It covers a lot of ground. I just find it highly entertaining. Number 3, Pick Up on South Street. This is Sam Fuller in collaboration with Richard Widmark and Jean Peters. Jean Peters was the girlfriend of Howard Hughes at this time. Thelma Ritter also in this. You got to have Thelma Ritter to have a really good film noir. But it confronts many of the Cold War paranoia, the idea of what a patriot is and is not. It has just a high degree of tension. There's a great set where Widmark hangs out. It's on sort of a pier over the ocean. I think it's one of Fuller's best. In fact, I would probably say this, if I was a film critic, I would say this is probably Sam Fuller's best movie and a highly rewatchable Fuller movie. Now, number 2, we're going to come to, a consensus all around film noir. Some people would say this is the greatest film noir of all time. This is another 4K, Double Indemnity. And we get Billy Wilder, we get Raymond Chandler writing much of the hard-boiled dialogue here, a sensational Barbara Stanwyck, and as the studio said, a George Washington wig. We get Fred MacMurray. Who knew that Fred MacMurray could do this? In 1944, to see MacMurray, a sort of not quite lightweight, but mostly comedies, and now suddenly he plays this very dark role. So, but not only do we get MacMurray, not only do we get Barbara Stanwyck, we get Edward G. Robinson, one of his greatest supporting roles, and the relationship between Stanwyck and MacMurray is toxic, but the relationship between MacMurray and Edward G. Robinson is just sensational. Edward G. Robinson has one scene in this film where Billy Wilder has him do a monologue at just supersonic speed. It's worth just putting that one scene out every once in a while to see what great Hollywood actors were like, and especially Edward G. Robinson. Now, number 1, my favorite film noir in the Criterion collection is Robert Aldridge's Kiss Me Deadly from 1955 with Ralph Meagher playing Mike Hammer. Look closely at the opening sequence, you'll see Cloris Leachman, and I think her first role. A great travelogue through LA in the 1950s. And this is nuclear noir. This is about the Great What's-It. This is a film that's about the anxiety over the bomb, anxiety and crime. So we get criminal activities that are not so much about crime, but about the Great What's-It. A spectacular ending to Kiss Me Deadly, to be sure. Now, Kiss Me Deadly is not I would not rank that my all-time number 1 noir. That would go to Out of the Past with Robert Mitchum that came a few years before. So those are my crime movies for this sale. What am I going to pick up? I know I'm going to get The Others. I'm going to be doing a Nicole Kidman mini-series soon. So I'll be picking up The Others, 4K, Mean Streets, also in 4K. A couple more, I'm not sure exactly what, but those 2 are the main ones to pick up. And also Claude Chabrol's La Cérémonie. So those are the 3 must-buys for me for this sale. And when I go to the store on the first day of the sale, I'm sure I'll be tempted to buy quite a few more. But I'm going to try to hold that down. But any films that you would recommend as far as crime films you're going to be picking up in this sale, please leave comments in comments below. Okay, thanks a lot for everybody who listened. I do appreciate it. Take care.